Welcome, everyone, and good evening. And here we are in Daytona Beach, Florida for the start of the season of the Superior Class Auto Racing NASCAR Cup Series and the Daytona 250. I'm Steve Singer in the HBR booth alongside Eric Dotson. How we doing, Eric? Long time no see.
Doing good, Steve. Ready to get racing. How about you?
More of the same for sure. We had a great race last night here in the ARCA Series. Eventual winner Mark Truxall taking the win on the last, I can't even say last lap, last 100 feet maybe. Last lap of the race, of course, but only lap of the race that he won, but it's the one that counts for sure. Hopefully we'll see some kind of action like that here tonight. Maybe not from Mark Truxall, maybe from Mark Truxall. We'll see. Typically with these events, we tend to make picks as far as who we think is going to win tonight's race. On the pole, we've got Brian Rose. On the outside is David Bradford. I'll let you go first, Eric. Who's your pick?
I think with this new drafting and the way the cars are set up, it's going to take somebody with a little bit of patience. So I'm going to take Bobby Jr. winning the first race of the season on this one. I think he's going to have the patience, and he's got the experience and the skill to do it. So I'm going to take Bobby Jr.
Well, speaking of Bobby Hamilton Jr., he's running that Hateful Chicken sponsorship on that vehicle, so we got to certainly mention the Hateful Chicken. If you haven't already picked a seat at the bar or a table and gotten yourself some food and a cold beverage, please do so. And if you haven't done it tonight and you got no plans, well, do it in the near future because I'm 12 hours away and I can't. And if I was in the area, I'd certainly do it.
So, I made my pick, so I'm needing to hear yours before this race starts.
Well, I suppose I'm going to go with the easy pick. Brian Rose in that 89 Popple Chevrolet. He's on pole. He runs phenomenal at these places. He ran great last night in the ARCA Series. So I'm going to go with the 89 of Brian Rose.
So you're going to take the pole sitter.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, Brian's a good pick at this track as well. I think either one of us can come away winning this one.
Looking at practice times, top time on the board tonight in the draft is Will Hewitt. Laid down a 45-10, followed by Bobby Hamilton Jr., Chris Johnson, David Bradford, and Thomas McMullen. But all the way back to fifth spot, it's a 10.5 difference from first to fifth. So it's definitely tight in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, a lot of them, probably don't have the experience on these. I know the new cars come with a different package, so I think you're going to see a lot of guys learning the best way to drive the car, the best way to draft with the cars, and I think they're going to learn a lot throughout the race.
Well, we can only hope. I know with this new car here, the aerodynamic package has been a bit of a question mark. Doesn't draft quite as well as the ARCA car as far as building those big runs, but I think that's going to cause a little frustration, and it's probably going to end in some bent sheet metal by the time the night is through.
Yeah, so I was looking, and it looks like everybody has one quick repair. And when I was racing on this, it was always don't go home with that quick repair. If you're at the back and a three wide occasion comes about.
Got just under a minute here left in this practice session pre-race. Qualifying was done last week. As we said, Brian Rose on the pole. David Bradford is first. Is on the outside pole in second spot. As far as the race information goes, it's the Daytona 250. It's a half major distance. We're not going to run 500 miles here tonight, but certainly 250. I think that's 100 laps around this 2.5 mile super speedway. Outside ambient temperature, a comfortable 69 degrees, 70% humidity. Little breezy with partly cloudy skies. We got 7-mile-an-hour winds. Can't imagine that's going to affect the cars too much here tonight, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I think it's going to be an exciting race because, like I said, this is new to a lot of people, so I think they're going to be trying to fill it out and learn along the way.
Looks like we've got a 20 car field tonight, so that's nice.
Because I can.
Still waiting for the cars to take the grid here at Daytona. We do have a bit of an echo problem, which we've been trying to fix since last week.
We'll get it lined out here eventually.
Yeah, I think if I mute my mic whenever Eric talks, I think we'll be okay. But we're just going to have to do it that way for now until we can get a solid fix. But bear with us. The racing action's still going to be good, so just stay tuned.
We got everybody gridding up now, so I picked Bobby Hamilton Jr. to win. Steve is going with the '89 of Brian Rose. So everybody watching, comment. Let's see who you all's picking. Let's see who has the most picks. I know Debbie Rose is going to pick the '89 of Brian Rose. She's biased. I'd say she'll pick Colt.
Terry's definitely picking Colt. There's no doubt about it. Debbie, I'm with you. I'm thinking Brian Rose is going to take the trophy tonight.
Terry took Colt. We got a Justin Napier.
Anna's picking the 54, another hateful chicken entry.
The Hateful Chicken picked Bobby Jr.
I mean, it makes sense.
We got a Don Harger picking Cody Harger.
A lot of familiar last names in here. I'm kind of wondering.
Yeah, I think everybody's biased, just not Debbie. Okay. So it looks like we're still counting down, gridding up. We were having some technical issues getting a driver in, so they extended the start of the race. So it looks like we'll start to go green here in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, I really hope we can get this last guy in. He performed really well last night in the ARCA race. Didn't get the finish he wanted, but he's certainly a good race driver. We want him here, and we want him to have this opportunity to try and take home a win here in the Cup Series.
Yeah, I know we raced with him in the IROC series, and he was always fun to race with over there.
Chris Middleton chiming in. Howdy, howdy. Let's get rowdy. Okay, we can do that. Well, I hear the sound of these 550 horsepower next gen engines hitting the track.
We're going out. Get ready to go green.
Sticking with Bobby?
Yeah, I'll pick Bobby. I'll stay with Bobby. You got Brian. You know, we're gonna keep a tab. I'm gonna write it down, and we're gonna have an official count this time. Cause I think I've beat you like 99-1 or something.
99-1. I don't know about that.
Oh, I think that's true. Thing about this track though is, I mean, anybody can win this. It comes down to being at the right place at the right time. We'll see if these three HBR cars try to hook up or what they do starting first, second, and third here.
Pace car's in. We'll wait for the flagger to throw the green. For Ryan Rose in the gas. Green flag is in the air. We are underway in the SCAR NASCAR Cup Series Daytona 250.
Looks like we got off to a clean start, thankfully.
Well, we're not really at the start until we get back around turn 4. It takes a little while for these cars to get up to full song.
Last week it was all about winning and bragging rights and the money on the line. This week it's all about the points. So, you know, these boys are trying to lead the first lap in order to get that bonus point. Looks like Brian's going to, start the season off right with the pole and the first bonus point.
Yeah, I mean, it is a points race, but it's still Daytona. I mean, you want to start the season off with a win. I think the risks will be taken here today for sure. You want to be smart about it, but you still want to bring home that trophy. Second at Daytona is not fun.
I'm just ready to see how this high cycle works. I know it's still early, but looks like the top 6 here. All in line, top 8, really.
I mean, lap 3 at this point, these guys are going to kind of settle in, see what they've got. I don't see a whole lot of guys taking many risks this early on. We kind of saw it a little bit last night where things got aggressive in the early stages and kind of settled down in the middle. But tonight seems like they're starting off early with just keeping the pace, single file. Let's see what we're dealing with, what we have to work with, think about strategy. Eight-car lead pack at this point. Already some separation between those 8 cars in the next pack. Not huge, but enough to notice it. Of course, I say that it won't be long before Alan DeFries tucks up behind the 40 of Jeff Napier.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are just feeling it out and seeing what's working right now. So we'll see them get racier as the race goes along.
Riding on board the bumper cam, Brian Rose, our leader, looking back at teammate Vincent Short, that number 15 U.S. Air Force machine.
Got a lot of new, pretty paint schemes out here for this season.
It's a very good point. Guys start a fresh season. A lot of them like to have a fresh new paint, a new look for their car, for their sponsor. I think now's a good time. Let's kind of go through the field while these guys are single file. Of course, up front, our pole sitter, Brian Rose, in that number 89 Popple Chevrolet, riding in second spot. It's Vincent Short in that number 15 Air Force machine, looking for that lead, tucked up in pretty tight. And behind Vince, we have the number 16 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. in the Hateful Chicken Ford Mustang, number 16. Chris Johnson back in the SCAR series. Took a little bit of a leave of absence and some work that had to be done and just didn't have time, but here he is at Daytona for the Daytona 250. Strong run so far. Always runs well at these super speedways. Behind Chris, we've got the 02 of Thomas McMullen out of Pensacola, Florida. Already has some damage to the back of that machine. The rear bumper pushed in just slightly. Not sure what's that's from. I don't have anything in the history here. But Murder Creek Distillers on that machine and hoping to bring that to victory lane here tonight. Will Hewitt, another Chevrolet entry with Snyder's and Fiverr on the car, a new sponsor for that team. He's running in the 6th spot. David Bradford, the number 46 Natural Light Toyota Camry. New team this year, switched in the offseason to Holler Boys Racing. Running in the 8th spot, we have Jeff Napier in the Superior Class Auto Racing machine. Behind him, we've got the 71 of Alan DeFries with the NRA sponsorship. That Toyota Camry always looking strong. Tommy D'Angelo in the 3, Clifton Park, New York. He's running in the 10th spot. Cole Dansley had a great shot last night in the ARCA race to win it. Had some issues late, got turned in the tri-oval and finished the race, I believe, last car on the lead lap. Hoping for some better luck here tonight. Running 12th, we've got the 5 of Mark Truxell, the winner last night, the surprise winner. Not that we didn't think he could win, but we've seen him do it before. But we're talking last 100 feet. Makes the pass for the win in the ARCA race last night here at Daytona. Running 13th is Carson Conway, also in a Popple Ford Mustang. He is running in the 13th spot. Had some trouble getting into the pits last night and just had some issues. Hoping for some more better luck here tonight. Running 14th, we've got the 4 of Dane Walsh. No sponsorship on this car, so companies out there, if you're interested, you've got plenty of space to drop your logo. In the 15th spot, we have Cody Harger in that number 16 Plasmine Technologies Toyota Camry. Biding his time at the back. He's trying to keep the nose clean on that machine. 16th, we've got Alan Bargainquest in the number 17 DeWalt Ford Mustang. 17th, another Hateful Chicken entry, Justin Napier in that 54 Chevy Camaro. 18th, newcomer Jesse Bobo in the number 7 Mountain Dew Chevrolet. Jason Spear, the 83 Toyota Camry, he runs in the 19th spot. And I believe a fellow relative, Ian Spear, running 20th in the number 32.
A lot of beautiful cars through the field right there.
Yeah, I mean, new paints is something that I personally enjoy doing quite a bit. I mean, whether it's just making them or fresh season, fresh paint, you got to do it. But it's always nice to see these guys take some pride in ownership and throw a new paint scheme out. Even if it's the same sponsor, it's nice to see something freshened up here at Daytona.
Yeah, I think that's just as exciting as starting the new season as seeing the new paints. Looks like we've had a 4-car breakaway out of the top 4 so far.
Yeah, they've put about a full second on Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that pack. I'd imagine if they really wanted to draft on up to that top 4, they could. But again, it's early. I think they're just going to try and see what they're working with, what they have in their cars, and try to make a game plan. We've got 100 laps here at Daytona tonight. We're 12 down, so 88 to go. Long ways. Things are going to get a lot more exciting as this night progresses, that's for sure.
I think around lap 25, it'll start getting racy because we will have a stage caution at lap 30.
And I thought I heard earlier that the fuel window on these cars was about 36 laps. Does that sound right?
Carson Conway had said that 35 laps was about max on it.
So 35 laps, so the first stage really won't come into play as far as fuel mileage is concerned.
The next stage will be lap 60. So, you know, that last stage may be a factor with fuel mileage.
It's really impressive last night. They didn't run any, they didn't have any incidents last night. No yellow flags until I think about 15 to go. They ran almost 70 laps before they had any problems.
See Bobby Jr. and Thomas McMullen, Jeff Napier caught the lead pack here. Looked like they tried to go high, just didn't have it, fell back in line. So we'll see if they start getting a little race. It looks like Bobby's going to go to the outside of Will Hewitt.
Things getting a little dicey here in mid-pack. Will Hewitt, David Bradford, Bobby Hamilton Jr. to his outside. Thomas McMullen to the outside and Ellen DeFries on the in. A little bit of drafting help from the 86 of Colt Ansley.
I think these guys are still trying to figure out how to work the high side there.
The problem is they're trying to make that work, but not all of them are trying to help make that work. They took advantage. You saw Colt Ansley and Alan DeFries, they just kind of stuck to the bottom. 86 gave the 71 a push, and on around they went with 16.
Here comes David Bradford going to try to lead a charge on the high side. Looks like him and DeFreeze are the only two going to go that way. I mean, it's just looking like the high side's going to be tough. I mean, they fell back pretty quick there.
David slides down in front of the 82 of Carson Conway. Another HBR teammate. How's the echo in the broadcast? Is Eric a little cleaned up now, or what? Ooh, a little wiggle from the 82 of Carson Conway. Real loose off turn 4. Manages to gather it back up. Doesn't go off track, but scary moment for the 82 of Carson Conway.
The one thing I would look at here at the front, you got Brian Rose, Vincent Short, first and second, Holler Boys Racing. Then you have the 78, the 33, and 86, all of Outcast Racing together. And third, fourth, and fifth, and David Bradford and Carson Conway, Holler Boys in sixth and seventh. So, you know, if it stays like this till the end, we'll see, you know, what kind of moves these guys makes with their teammates all around them.
Yeah, I mean, I know Chris Johnson's on a different team at this point, but Chris Johnson has always been great to work with on these super speedways, at least as far as the Holler Boys racing teams are concerned. They've worked very amicably together. Not really teammates per se, but I guess in a pinch, if you had to help somebody, the 78, someone I'd help.
Absolutely. I mean, when me and Brian first started racing with the SCAR League, the 78 helped me and him a lot, and I always called him an unofficial team member of Holler Boys.
Holler Boys Racing Associate.
Absolutely.
Little wiggle again from Carson Conway. Real loose off turn 4. Almost lost the car, but manages to stick the landing. Let's watch Carson Conway here and see if he's got some handling issues developing on that number 82 machine.
You know, I don't know how much practice Carson's done in the next gen cars, but they do steer a lot different. It's like if you try to turn them as sharp as the old cars that we ran, it's like you jerk them sideways. So, you know, that may just be a feel thing that he's trying to get used to.
Well, it almost looks like he's losing the nose off turn 4 and overcorrecting it down to the bottom. He hasn't had an issue with wrecking the car, thank goodness, but definitely battling the handling on that Ford Mustang.
These cars handle so much different coming out, so I would say that's just a little bit of him won't have to get used to the feel of it.
Riding on board with Thomas McMullen here. He's going to see how the 82 comes off 4. He's got a lot of wiggle in that race car. Thomas backing out of the throttle ever so slightly, just trying to keep a safe gap between himself and the 82. Here
Like Carson got a really good run right through the tri-oval right there.
And for all the handling issues that Carson Conway appears to be having, he's running in the 6th spot, so the car's fast. Got to give him that.
Yeah, I ran some laps with Carson earlier. And, you know, coming off these turns are a lot different in these cars.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I've lapped these cars myself. I've raced in them a little bit here and there. I have not grown a liking to them just yet. They are awkward. They are a little different, but it's the wave of the future. It's kind of what we're given. We got to race them at some point, so they're here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, and so much of this iRacing is just feel. You know, I say it a lot. You can't just turn this on and expect to be good at it. Very few people's been able to do that. So, you know, I think the longer the race goes, the more time he has, he'll be fine with that little wiggle.
Well, we're 23 laps down at this point of 100 laps. Coming up on that first stage, Brian Rose is still your leader. Teammate Vince Short runs second. Chris Johnson is third, and Will Hewitt is fourth. 5th place, Colt Ansley. 6th place, Carson Conway. 7th, Thomas McMullen. 8th, Tommy D'Angelo. 9th, David Bradford. And 10th is Bobby Hamilton Jr.
You know, we're going to come down and start lap 25 when we get to the start-finish line. So I think you're going to see them start getting a little bit racier, trying to get those stage points. So far, it looks like Brian Rose has led every lap out in the number 89 Popple machine.
Yeah, Brian led some laps last night. I know Vincent Short led probably the most laps out of the evening and just unfortunately wasn't able to bring the car home into victory lane. But a great showing for all the HBR machines. David Bradford led some laps. Obviously, Brian Rose, Vincent Short, Carson Conway, not a great night. But at the end of the night, it was Mark Truxell in victory lane. We'll have to see if he can make that happen tonight. But it appears that he has gone at least a lap down. Had an issue early on. He's a few laps down. Mark Truxell off the pace.
Yeah, I think something happened with his connection from what it looks like, and he may have got booted from the room and then came back in. Not exactly sure. It's like 30. 60. Yeah, that's what it's in Discord, is 30 and 60.
So, Don Harger, to answer your question, the stages tonight, I think, are 30, 60, 100. So the last stage will be a 40-lap stint. See, Mark Truxell is still on track. But as I said, I believe he's a few laps down.
Yeah, he just got lapped last lap again. So it looks like some connection issues may have hurt his chances to win tonight. These guys from 6th on, they are trying to form that top groove, but just not been able to yet. I mean, we have 2 race teams in the top 6. We got the Holler Boys and Outcasts, so we'll see. You know, we may have a 3-on-3 coming to the end of the first stage here.
Right now, it looks like the HBR machines up front are a little outnumbered.
They got Carson back there. If he don't lose the draft, it looks like they're pulling away from him a little bit. I don't know if he's got an issue or what. He needs to get up there. That way, if they go to the high side, he can make it 3-on-3. I'm sure that's what the Outcast team is talking about right now is when to make their move to the high side. They know, they can get a good run, and it'll take Carson a little bit to get up in behind the 89 and 15 to push.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. They're going to need to at least get 3 cars lined up, at least, to make a move past 2 drafting cars up front. Like we said, these cars are aerodynamically so much different than the ARCA car. That ARCA car is the old design with the wicker bill on the roof and a little lip on the spoiler. It really creates a giant hole, creates a vacuum behind the lead car, which allows the trailing car to really draft up and generate a huge run. Whereas these cars, most of the downforce is generated from the floor of the car, so it doesn't create as much of a pocket of air when it cuts through to allow that car and back to draft up. Yes, it's there, but nowhere near as significant. So it's totally different strategies. You're really going to have to work together, like Eric was talking about. Teammates are going to be key, and you got to really work together to make a plan. And here they go.
Here they go.
Chris Johnson looking to the outside with help from Will Hewitt and Colt Ansley. We got trouble. Bobby Hamilton Jr. sideways with Carson Conway. Carson Conway into the fence with Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Oh, it was going to be a 3-on-3 to the finish line. HBR versus Outcast, and looks like trouble happened behind them. But you had a good lineup there for the end of stage 1.
Well, let's go back and take a look at it with the Hateful Chicken instant replay. Carson Conway comes up a little bit, clips the left rear of the 16, then back up the track they go. Not sure if Thomas McMullen got a part of that. Yeah, a little bit. Spun him around. Not sure if he collected the wall. Let's look at it from Thomas's end. Once again, Carson getting into the 16. Thomas McMullen on the high side just gets a little bit of it in the left rear. Hard impact into the wall for Thomas McMullen. He's going to have some repairs done for sure to make that car competitive here in the next stage.
If you look at it from from the far chase, it looked like Carson held his line pretty good.
Let's see how it looks from the blimp. Yeah, Eric, you might be right. It kind of does look like the 82 kind of held his line there.
Yeah, it looked like Bobby came down just a little bit, maybe trying to follow Bradford, and just, Carson was there.
We look at Thomas McMullen in pit lane. Getting some repairs done to that 02 machine. 32 laps into this 100-lap event. Hopefully Thomas can get that thing repaired and back out there.
I think Brian Rose won the stage, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. David Bradford's running in the second spot right now, and with Brian Rose still the leader, with the caution coming out, I can only assume that he was the leader at the stage end.
From what it looks like, and this is unofficial, I'm not a race admin or nothing, but It looks like it would be Brian Rose, Chris Johnson, Vincent Short, Will Hewitt, and Cole Ansley is what it looks like on the replay. But that's unofficial. That's just me looking at the replay. We'll let the admins sort that out. But that's what we're going to unofficially say.
Sounds good to me, man. Let's go with it.
We know for sure that Brian Rose won the stage. So that's a good boost for Brian going into this season. I know he's won an ARCA championship and talked about how the Cup Series is next on his list. So he's starting the season off right so far.
You know, Brian Rose, I mean, primarily, I would consider Brian Rose kind of team leader at Holler Boys Racing, and he really devoted a big effort to winning a championship with HBR this year, at least one, and so far so good. Starting on pole, winning this first stage. He's leading now a third of the way through this race. Just got to keep it clean for another 66 or so laps.
Yeah, I mean he lost his teammate behind him. You know, he's not got Vince. I'm not sure what happened to Vince. I don't see him in the top few cars here.
Vince may have taken the opportunity to pit, but the green flag is back out. Field is underway. Brian Rose under power, crosses the start-finish. Little wiggle from Cole Ansley on the restart. Not sure if he got contact from the 4. Gathers it up. No harm, no foul. Another wiggle from the 46 of David Bradford.
Yeah, him and Brian got close right there. You know, David Bradford's trying to get up there and lead him a lap, get that bonus point. He may get it right here.
A lot of experience behind the wheel, that number 46 Natural Light Toyota Camry. Not quite, though. Brian Rose still going to lead that lap. Lap 35 now underway. 34 belongs to the 89. Let's see if the 46 can take it next time by. No more single file. These guys are seemingly committed to racing side by side at this stage of the race.
Yeah, Brian stole that one from him right at the last second. That outside line has got a good run. I've noticed, you know, Will Hewitt has always been a good pusher, but it's really showing in these cars. I mean, he's really done well every time I've seen him pushing.
You know, it's interesting, too. He always tends to be at the front of these super speedway races, but admittedly last night in his interview, it's not really his cup of tea. He doesn't really care for these tracks as much as some of the guys do, like a Brian Rose or yourself or Vincent Short and so on. But, again, Will Hewitt tends to do really well here. So for something you don't really care for, he's making a good go of it.
Yeah, I mean, every time I've seen him pushing somebody, he's really done a good job. And, you know, he was right up on David, pushing him to the front just now.
Cole Ansley taking a peek to the outside of Chris Johnson, decides better and stays to the inside.
I'm just wondering about Bobby Jr. You know, he's normally up front. I'm wondering if he had to use a quick repair, and he's just going to kind of be conservative this stage and kind of show his muscle this last stage coming up.
Yeah, Bobby Hamilton Jr. running back in the 16th spot at the moment. We kind of saw this from him last night as well. prior to even using that fast repair, he was kind of in the middle to back of the pack, just kind of watching things unfold, waiting for the chaos to start. But don't look now, the 66 of Cody Harger is right on his back bumper, and it seems like every time these guys have an opportunity to work together, they tend to do just that, and it usually pays off for them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have them two together late in the race,
back up front, David Bradford is taking over the lead. Brian Rose back to third. Will Hewitt is now second.
you know, so far this race, it's kind of been a Holler Boys and Outcasts racing top five. I mean, every time we go up towards the front, them two teams make up the top five.
Let's go back and take a look at the pass for the lead here. David Bradford on the outside. Will Hewitt giving him a good push into the tri-oval. Chris Johnson laying back just ever so slightly behind Brian Rose.
Yeah, they just took it. I mean, they synced up and had a run, and they wasn't no stopping them.
Well, Brian seemed to come up a little bit to try and take a look at that center lane, while 33 Will Hewitt stayed tucked in close to David Bradford. And it looks like David Bradford's going to get the position off of turn 2 down the backstretch. This replay started a little early in this whole process, but now coming off 2, Chris Johnson was pushing pretty well.
We got a battle
ahead. Lap 40 of 100. We're live. David Bradford in the 46 Natural Light Toyota Camry is your leader. Brian Rose second in the 89 Papa Machine third. Chris Johnson fourth. Colt Ansley, and fifth is newcomer Dane Walsh.
Not sure what happened to Will Hewitt, but he went from second to, you know, way back 8th, 9th, 10th, somewhere around there it looks like.
Well, it seems like the leaders kind of decided to single file the field out. They were double file for quite a while, and David Bradford took the lead and back to the choo-choo train down the straightaway.
Looks like they're coming up on some lap traffic here.
Yeah, Jason Spear in the 83 machine. Not quite up to full song.
Looks like it's calmed down a little bit. Everybody's kind of getting ready for the last push of this stage.
A little more of the same from the early stages of the race. More single file. Time to take advantage is during the restart. Well, Brian Rose actually gives the 46 a bit of a bump down the straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like the 78 got into Brian and kind of slowed down the cars behind.
Ooh, little wiggle from the 89 off turn 4. These next-gen cars certainly seem to handle the best when they're out front. Brian Rose certainly learning that aero push is a very real thing in these race cars.
Yeah, I know Brian and David's worked a lot together this week on developing the relationship in the drafting aspect, and I'm sure these guys is on the radio talking about their plans on finishing this stage out. Looks like we're a single file as far as I can see right now.
Well, we'll get the speed shot down the back straightaway. It does certainly seem everybody's lined right up. Lap 46. David Bradford still leading the 89 of Brian Rose, who's in front of the 78 of Chris Johnson. Colt Ansley 4th, Dayton Walsh 5th.
It looks like everybody's still close enough to reach the draft, except for Cody Harger. I'm not sure what happened to him. It looks like he may have lost the draft. Him and Vincent Short both.
Yeah, actually, he's definitely lost the draft. Cody Harger, that is. He's way back.
And Vincent's behind him.
Well, if Cody can back up to Vince, they might be able to at least keep things going. But as it is, I mean, Cody Harger, he's almost 5 full seconds off that next pack.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe these two got into each other or got into someone else or what happened with this.
Going to jump on board with the 86 machine of Colt Ansley as he rides behind in the 4th spot. It looks like Carson Conway has crashed. Single car incident. Let's take a look at that.
I just seen that he was in the pits and wondering what happened to him.
Gets into the wall off into the backstretch and then hard impact to the inside wall all by himself.
Now that's
a break for
unfortunate.
Carson Conway.
You know, Scar's doing the team championship along with, the individual driver championships. So, the HBR guys are going need Carson out there as much as possible to get as many points as possible for that overall team championship.
Well, so far it looks like HBR is the only team to have led a lap, and we're just ready to start the halfway lap here in the Daytona 250. David Bradford leads it, lap 49.
I talked to Carson and he said his screen went black, so looks like he may have had some technical difficulties, and I'm sure anybody had hit the wall if the screen went black.
Yeah, he's had some computer issues, some bad luck here this week in the sports car series on Sunday night. His computer decided to go into an automatic update mid-race, so that kind of took him out of that event.
It's disheartening, I know this is a super speedway, you hold it wide open, But, I know Carson has put in a lot of time practicing this week with his HBR teammates, and, it's unfortunate for him. He was running up near the front early on in the race.
Yeah, Carson Conway was definitely having a decent run here, almost to the halfway point of the race. Was running top 6, maybe even top 5. Had a good run going, and unfortunately just has some issues in the end.
Yeah, I would say he used his quick repair when him and Bobby got together, and then when his screen went black and hit the wall, that probably, done him in.
.32 machine of Ian Spear going another lap down. See a little bit of damage to the right side of the 46 Toyota Camry. I'm not sure what that's from.
I'm surprised the back end's not damaged. Brian Rose has been all up on that back end. I think these guys, up front here, probably talking, trying to get a plan together. At the line, we're on lap 53. We will have a stage caution at the end of lap 60, so, I think it's going to get racy here in the next couple laps with everybody trying to win and get those stage points.
It's the benefit of running these stage races. It does give you a chance to break up a little bit of the monotony, so to speak. These guys are kind of in a rhythm. They're running the single file. But later on at the end of that stage, like you're saying, these guys are going to get more aggressive. They're going to want to try and compete, try to move up a spot or two, and try to get some more points. It's going to ultimately help them at the end of the season.
Yeah, these championships have been decided by people who have got bonus points versus people who hasn't. So, every bonus point, every lap led, at every race matters. Ron Rose ducking way below the yellow line there. Not sure what happened. Looked like he may have got a little loose.
Seems to be happening quite a bit, especially by the trailing car. They lose the nose, slide up into the middle groove there, and all of a sudden the downforce starts to kick in, and now it's an overcorrection. We saw that with Carson Conway earlier on in the race.
How about Chris Johnson, though? Had to take some time off, like you said earlier. Come back, this is his first race in a while. He's back and been up front the whole race, so good job by him. I know he's going to be going for a win here at the end.
Yeah, Chris Johnson's certainly no slouch. He's almost always up in this top 5 or even top 3 at these super speedways for sure. He's pretty good everywhere else as well, but certainly on super speedways he's always in contention.
Yeah, he's definitely got the super speedways figured out. I know him and his teammate Cole Ansley's probably talking now on their game plan.
Well, we've got about 4 laps before the stage end. Let's try and go through the field real quick. Number 46, David Bradford in that Toyota Camry leads. Has led for quite a while after getting by the 89 of Brian Rose. Brian Rose led pretty much lap all the way to the first stage until that caution came out for the stage and or the yellow with Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Carson Conway. Again, Chris Johnson we just spoke about. Back here in the Superior Class Auto Racing NASCAR Cup Series, putting on a good performance so far, running in that 3rd spot. Teammate to Colt Ainsley in the number 86 Rick Motec machine. Again, followed by newcomer in the number 4, Dane Walsh, running in the top 5, 5th spot right now. Getting some blank canvas on that machine. Could certainly accept a sponsorship or two. Alan DeFries running in 6th spot in the number 71 NRA Toyota Camry. Justin Napier quietly working his way up into the top 10. 7th spot in that number 54 Hateful Chicken entry. And with Dad in the 40 right behind him, the Superior Class Auto Racing Machine. 9th is running Alan Bargain Quest. In the 17, the DeWalt Mustang. 10th, Thomas McMullen in the Murder Creek Distillers 02. With Will Hewitt in the 11th spot in that Fiver Chevrolet Camaro. 12th is Jesse Bobo in that Mountain Dew entry. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still quietly riding back in the 13th spot. I still think he's just biding his time, not going to be too aggressive. He'll push when the time is right. It's a good run on the 7 right there, so I guess the time was right. Tommy D'Angelo in this number 3 entry, 14th spot. Cody Harder still running back in the 15th spot on the lead lap, but certainly losing ground on that pack. It's down to about 29 seconds, so stage break is certainly going to help out considerably there to keep him on the lead lap. Vincent Short, kind of same scenario, just cruising along right now, trying to keep it on that lead lap. And Ian Spear in the 32, I think he is actually a lap down, but 17th spot for Ian Spear. 18th is Jason Spear. 19th is Mark Truxell. Carson Conway, unfortunately, appears to be out of the race, if not getting repairs done, in the 20th spot after an issue with his display. Back up front, lap 59. We're almost to the stage end. David Bradford still leads.
Yeah, I think, I know last time it started down the backstretch when the third place car, tried to make their run at the end of stage 1. So I predict kind of the same thing. I think Chris Johnson's going to lay back, coming out 1 and 2 and get his run and try on the high side. 1 to go.
Last lap of stage 2.
Got about car length between him and Brian. I think he's going to try to get a run and go to the high side.
Justin Napier making some moves around the 71 of Alan DeFries. Things are moving along nicely in the pack. We're side by side, guys, jockeying for position down the back straightaway into turn 3. For the leaders right now, it still looks like David Bradford and Brian Rose. Chris Johnson took a look with no help. A little bit of a wiggle out of Colt Ainsley in the 86. Justin Napier has moved his way almost to the 5th spot, side by side with Alan DeFries. Jeff Napier giving the push, but at the start-finish, it's David Bradford taking the stage. Brian Rose is 2nd, Chris Johnson 3rd, Dane Walsh gets it 4th, and Alan DeFries appears to have been 5th.
Yeah, Chris done exactly what I thought he would do, and Colt just wasn't close enough to him. You seen Colt jump up going down the backstretch, but he wasn't close enough to give him that push. So it worked out in the HBR favor, and David Bradford gets his first stage win of the season.
Well, with that, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back momentarily, certainly before we go green, to see the final stage of the Daytona 250.
Well, it looks like the HBR guys found a way to be first and third, so they'll be right there together.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a planned part of their pit stop. Drag the brake a little on exit and just give up that second spot so we can start in a good position to help the teammate.
Yeah, it seems like they've had a pretty good plan going in here, and Chris Johnson though he's been at the front all day, so we'll see what he can do. It looks like he's got Jeff Napier behind him, so we'll get some racing going.
Top 5 going into the restart here. The start of stage 3 is going to be David Bradford, Chris Johnson, Brian Rose, Justin Napier, Colt Ansley.
We'll see if they can make that high side work early on in the run here.
Pace car getting ready to hit pit lane. Pace car is off. David can go. He does. He's in the throttle.
Ooh, Chris comes right down.
Good move by the 78 of Chris Johnson to get in between teammates David Bradford and Brian Rose.
Yeah, I'm sure Brian and David was talking about it under the stage caution, and they were going to try to prevent that, but looks like Chris Johnson was right on it to get it done.
See a bit of a backfire out of the 78. Definitely let out of the throttle to avoid getting into the 46 there.
I think we'll definitely see some guys that were maybe in the back and we haven't talked about come to the front right here. I mean, this is the last stage, so I think this will be the most raciest stage.
I will say, pre-race when we were talking about our picks, I went right for Brian Rose, and Eric was wondering, well, who should I pick? And I said, you know what, why don't you pick Justin Napier? He's been putting the work in lately. He's been coming on strong, and no, he didn't do it. He went with the old NASCAR guy, Bobby Hamilton Jr., the easy pick, as he always does. But looky, the 54 Justin Napier running in the top 5 in a solid 4th spot right now, just quietly working his way to the front.
It's early. I think Bobby lost a quicker pair, so I think Bobby will be up front before the race is over. And last time I picked Bobby, he won. He told me I just need to pick him every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that Bobby's going to be near the front when this race comes near conclusion, but I also am pretty confident that 54 machine's going to be near there as well.
Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of position changes before this one's over. We're on lap 67 out of 100, so a lot's going to change. Looks like everybody's just single file right now.
Seems like the Spear brothers are just not having a good go of it here tonight. 17th and 18th with Jason Spear lap down.
You are right. We've seen a little bit of change here with Justin Napier. It was kind of a outcast racing and Holler Boys racing stage 1 and 2, and now, we got Justin Napier on the TCB Motorsports, and we have Alan DeFries at the HLC. So, that's already getting broken up a little bit for the top 5.
It's an interesting thing. I mean, this league kind of started out as a competitive league, but a good place for guys to come race and have a good time. And this HBR thing kind of kicked off with some guys, and then halfway through the season, teams started to form within the Superior Class Auto Racing Series across the board, whether it's ARCA or Cup, just kind of in general. It's been good. It's promoted teamwork amongst the drivers, but we're all back in the chats, and we're kind of chatting it up in there and making jokes and cutting it up and having a good time. It's just really a good league. If you're anybody out there interested in joining a solid competitive league, we have a good time. We talk during the week. We usually chat during the NASCAR races on the weekends and make our statements and opinions known. But check us out. Come do a recruitment race once in a while. We do have those on occasion. We're not really looking for cup guys right now, but that's not to say it's not impossible. But shoot us an email, shoot us a comment, shoot us anything. We'll listen.
Yeah, and we have, different series on different nights. I know, Steve's a little bit more involved, so, he can tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really only involved for the most part for the broadcast side, but when I'm in the car, it's on the road course side for Superior Class Auto Racing Sports Car Series. That runs on Sunday nights, 8 p.m. in the East. We're all recruiting for that. We could use 5 or 6 more clean drivers, not necessarily looking for road racing aces. I mean, I'm pretty decent at it. We've got a couple of guys that are pretty decent at it, but it's primarily for the oval racer to learn the craft of road racing, to improve that part of their repertoire, so to speak. So if you're interested, find us on Facebook, shoot us a link, find us at scariRacing.com. We're there. We can be found. Hit us up.
Yeah, anybody wanting to go right, hit Steve up, hit that group up. Me, I can't go right. I'm just not no good at going right.
Lap 72 of 100. David Bradford continues the lead into stage 3 here. Chris Johnson riding in the tire tracks in the 46. Brian Rose now relegated back to the 3rd position, and looking on at the whole group is the 54 of Justin Napier, followed by Alan DeFries to round out the top 5.
The biggest surprise to me this race so far, the 02 of Thomas McMullen not being near the front. I don't know if he's came in with a different strategy or what, but Thomas is always up front, especially at these restrictor plates. So I'm anxious to see, if it was a game plan or what's going on with him.
Well, look at the company he's with right now. Okay, he's got Vincent Short right there. Vincent runs them excellent at super speedways. Cody Harger, also no slouch behind the wheel. The 7-car Jesse Bobo, I don't know much about him, but he's back there. And then just in front of Jesse's Bobby Hamilton Jr. So he's in good company. Maybe he's not up front by design. I don't necessarily think this is because he just can't make it up there. I don't want to think that about the O2. He's better than that, but he does have some damage still on that machine, so that could be costing him as well. We just don't know. Maybe he's still saving that fast repair for later.
All that could be true. When I raced with these guys and in this league, in the IROC league, I was kind of one of the conservative ones. I was always trying to keep that fast repair as long as I could. I mean, the last restrictor plate win I got, the only lap I led was the last one.
It's the only one that really matters, Eric. As long as you win the last one, you're good.
Yeah, and if Aaron Smith is watching, I still appreciate you pushing me to that win.
You earned that one for sure. You surprised, I think it was Kevin McCann was leading that race. He didn't think you were going to go to the outside, and you did just that. And Aaron Smith gave you the push, and a win it was.
Yeah, that was a good finish, and I think we're going to have something like that tonight.
We very might well see it tonight. Not sure, but we got 26 laps to go to decide it, so we're just going to have to wait until the end to see. But speaking of that IROC League, there's one guy that was with us last night in the ARCA Series, Brian Rick, was unfortunately not able to get into the session this evening. That's when we were trying to delay the session slightly to let him in. Couldn't make it work. Hopefully we'll see him next week, but we miss you, Brian. Sorry you couldn't be here, but we're looking forward to seeing you future races.
Yeah, he's a big pickup for the Scar Series. I enjoyed racing with him in the IROC Series, a good, clean racer, so I think he can definitely come in here and compete with these guys. And he's actually on the Outcast team that has ran up front just about the whole race.
We got 25 laps to go, and the trend seems to continue. A little bit of action early on in the stage, and then a kind of a lull in the middle. Pretty much single file most of the way back to the tail end of the field. David Bradford still leads. He's been rather dominant since maybe the midpoint of stage 2. Chris Johnson has worked his way up to the second spot with a great restart, getting down in front of Brian Rose. That's where they sit, 1, 2, 3, Bradford, Johnson, Rose.
Well, I think Chris is pretty much in a tough situation. He knows that if he tries anything, Brian's just going to suck up to the back end of David and kind of leave him out there. So I don't think Chris will get out of line unless maybe a big run comes from the outside and he tries to jump on it.
Now, what I see happening later on, if this is still the top 3 come 2 laps to go, I don't see Chris Johnson just sitting there and letting David have it. He's going to have to try something. He's going to have to gamble and hope that all the help that he's provided us in the past at HBR Racing, maybe, just maybe, Brian Rose will go with him. But that said, if I'm Brian Rose, maybe I'm thinking that same thing. Maybe when he makes that move, I quick to the outside, I get in tucked behind the 78 of Chris Johnson, and then I come right back down and go around him on the inside, use the draft from the 46, at least take that second spot away from Chris Johnson. Now, this is just all theory. It's just playing out in my head, but if it's me behind the wheel of the 89, I'm going to at least try it. If 78 goes high, I'm going to go with him and come right back down.
Yeah, so you're going to fake him out, make him think you're going to go with him.
I think the last season and a half of racing is what's made Chris think that he might go with him.
I'd hate to be in that team meeting Monday if that actually happened and Brian pushed him to a win, but I understand what you're saying with the fake out.
Come sit on my couch, we'll talk. A little bit of racing psychology 101.
Yeah, I think Chris will just be content with second if it's kind of a single file, because he knows he would probably go from second to at least third, fourth if he jumped out.
So if you want to know if Bobby Hamilton Jr. is laying back or if he can't make it to the front, he currently has the highest speed trap of anybody out there. He cracked 204 miles an hour.
Yeah, I think if anybody can find a way for that high side to work, it's going to be Bobby. And that's, that's what you're going to have to do to get to the front, is you're going to have to find a way to get that high side to work, because everybody's protecting that low side.
Just as I say that, Jeff Napier hits 205 on the backstretch.
Well, Jeff ran up front for a big part of this race, and I'm sure it seems like he always finds a way to be there and miss the wrecks here.
Back up front, David Bradford still our leader. Chris Johnson is second. Brian Rose is third. And Justin Napier still in fourth, but closed the gap between him and the 89 of Brian Rose. He's right on that back bumper now. Might be making a move with Alan DeFries, kind of looking to the outside, but no, he decides to tuck back in. Inside line, 1, 2, 3, 4 pack up front. You can cover him with a blanket into 3 and 4.
I'm not sure. It looks like Vincent Short may be losing the pack again. I'm not sure if he maybe got involved and used a quick repair or what's going on with him this season.
I don't know, but Mark Truxell is right on him.
Yeah, I mean Vince he's 188 right now, so he's off the pace with somebody pushing him.
Mark Truxell right on him at the moment. I don't see any rear end damage to the 15 machine. There is some left side damage on the 15 of Vincent Short, though. I can definitely see that.
Yeah, so maybe that's having an impact on his speed. I mean, because Vince is normally up front at these tracks.
Yeah, last night was a great example. Granted, different car in the ARCA series. He led probably half the race.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep pulling away from him.
But that said, Thomas McMullen, as you pointed out earlier, he's actually dropped back a little further as well, and the Spear brothers have caught the 0-2. Ian Spear on the lead lap. Sorry, Jason Spear on the lead lap. Ian Spear in a 32 is on the lead lap.
I mean, that's a little different for Thomas and Vince. They're normally not two that I've seen lay back along. So I don't know if they have some trouble or odds are they're going to be the big one. They're going to be a wreck. So, maybe they're just gambling to miss the big one. Maybe people have to hit and they'll pick up that track position.
Well, while we got these guys lined up single file and flying around Daytona International Speedway, maybe we should go with our version of Crank It Up, huh?
Let's do it.
Some great angles here at Daytona International Speedway. David Bradford with 15 to go, still leading. Chris Johnson second, but not tucked up as close as he was. I don't know if that engine temperature is coming up or if he's just trying to come up with a game plan. Brian Rose kind of doing the same, putting some distance between himself and second place while Justin Napier is closing in on the back bumper. Lead draft up to about 10, 11 cars. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Tommy D'Angelo, Cody Harger, the 7 of Jesse Bobo. That's really the full lead pack. Vince Short's back into the mix here as far as the draft is concerned. I think the 5 of Mark Truxell has helped move him back up, even with that left side damage.
He may have just been playing sandbag a little bit there.
Well, I think they're going to need fuel here. Yeah, because that final stage was 40 laps. They can only go about 35 on fuel, so it's going to be a late race pit stop, I believe, unless we get a caution.
I'm not sure. I know, when we talked about Dakota said, I don't know if that was 35 in the draft or 35 out of the draft.
Well, we're going to find out here probably in the next 9-10 laps for sure.
Bobby Jr. getting them lined up on the high side. Him and Cody Harder. We haven't talked about him hardly any tonight. Here comes Bobby and Cody on the high side, challenging Brian third.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. with Cody Harger, his wingman, on the outside, up to third spot, side by side just about with Chris Johnson, looking for that second spot, looking for a push from the 66, Vince Short. up in that mix, pushing the 66 into Bobby Hamilton Jr. And look at this. We've got a battle for the lead into turn 3. Bobby Jr. has it. Does he? Maybe. I don't know. He's got to clear the 46 of David Bradford. Cody Harger giving a huge push through turns 3 and 4. He's got him clear if he comes down.
They came out of nowhere.
What did I say? Playing possum. Waiting for the right moment. But looking to the inside now is Cody Harger, sliding down to the low line in front of David Bradford. New leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr., second, Cody Harger. David Bradford is third. Fourth is Chris Johnson. And look at that. Vince Short, sixth, was fifth just a moment ago, but now tucks in behind teammate Brian Rose.
Yeah, I mean, I was ready to write Vince off, and he came out of nowhere.
Mark Truxell definitely was a good drafting partner in helping Vince get back to that pack. It was an enormous gap. I don't know how he closed down the distance, but he certainly managed to pull it off. And here he runs, now battling with Justin Napier for the 6th spot. Justin Napier with drafting help from Jeff. Jeff actually dumps back the low line, tucks in behind Vincent Short, bailing on his own son.
It's time to go. Family's out the door. It's time to win.
Low line definitely seemingly preferred here unless you've got a real big train on the outside. Justin Napier, speaking of the outside, he's going to get freight trained by that inside line. He has no drafting help whatsoever. Gets it brought down to the low side, tucks down in front of the 7. But he's back to the 13th spot. He was battling with Vincent Short for 6th just a moment ago.
Yeah, if you don't have no help, it goes straight to the bag. You know, this is a lot different package as we talked about the whole race. If you're out there wondering why don't they just hook up and bump draft and push each other, I mean, you really can't with these cars. It's like you get a green wall and there's a mobile area between you. So it's actually hard to get up and bump somebody.
Yeah, you really need a serious run to do it. I mean, once you're there, if you can keep the nose tucked up under the bumper, you can still draft tandem-wise. But it's a matter of how these cars handle. As we said, downforce is created with the undercarriage, basically the floor of these cars, a lot like a modern sports car, IMSA-style car, even a Formula One car. It's new technology, but they don't handle that well in the draft, so it's very difficult. If you want to try and tandem through the corners, you really got to be on your game. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, when I was out there practicing with Chris Johnson and Carson Conway earlier, and, you know, I was trying to bump draft Chris Johnson around the track, and he would actually have to drag his brake a little bit for me to be able to bump him. Coming to lap 93 here, so we got a little bit left. I know everybody's kind of probably surprised. I mean, that low side's worked the whole time, and then Bobby Jr. and Cody come out of nowhere on the high side and take first and second.
I called them shake and bake last night in the ARCA race, and it certainly seems that way because whenever these guys are on a super speedway, they're always going to be right in front of or back of each other. Usually it's Bobby up front, Cody behind, or reverse the scenario. Either way, they're working together. And here you see it paying off with Bobby Hamilton Jr. out front here late and going with the Daytona 250 with only 7.5 laps to go.
I just wonder now, you know, you got Bobby Jr. and Cody who kind of didn't join the teams where they're the admins. They're kind of staying independent this season. But then you got, you know, teammates in 3rd and 5th and 6th. So Chris Johnson's kind of right there with no teammates around him. But like you said, he's worked with the Holler Boys a lot. If Holler Boys go high, does he go high or does he go with Bobby and Cody?
I mean, let's be realistic, though. I mean, we don't need to put a sticker on the C-post of the car to say we're teammates. If we're going to work together, we're going to work together. It's the same reason a Chevy will push a Ford or a Ford will push a Toyota. Is it going to benefit me at the end of the day? And whether Cody's a teammate with Bobby or not, Cody's up in the 2nd spot. like you were saying in the beginning of this race, it's a points race. You know, yeah, we want to win at Daytona, but coming in second, as terrible as it is to say, man, I was so close to winning, it's still a good points day. I know it's terrible and it's hard to swallow, but second, it's not so bad. Certainly beats dead last.
Looks like Colt Ansley's on the high side now, trying to get him. Oh, Colt's in the wall. Wreck.
Big wreck on the back straightaway. Colt Ansley, the 4, Will Hewitt, teammates, Alan Bargain Quest. Let's take it to Hateful Chicken instant replay. Looks like Will gets into Colt a little bit here. The 4 of Dane Walsh, the 17 of Alan Bargain Quest. Let's take another look. Certainly appeared to be a push gone wrong.
Yeah, it looked like Will just wasn't centered up on him, and kind of when he pushed him, cockeyed him into the wall.
I'll tell you though, this changes everything. 5 laps to go. These guys are right at the end of their pit window. They're going to get a yellow flag for pit stops, which means we're going to have a shootout to the finish. I don't even know what to say. This is just like last night. My mouth is wide open, dropped on the floor. I just don't know what else to say. We're in for a great finish here tonight at Daytona. Season opener for the NASCAR Scar Cup Series. This is, well, it's Daytona. What can you say?
It's not looking like we have any takers to pit. Well, Chris Johnson is the only one out of the top bunch to pit.
See, I'm really surprised because 35 laps seemed to be the fuel window. But then again, you're right. Maybe that was just single car runs. I don't know. It might have been the draft. I'm not for sure. But that said, though, tires may help. Is he going to jack that car up for tires? Doesn't look like it.
No,
he didn't do it. Thomas McMullen, he's getting tires. He got right sides. Left side's going in the air. Sunoco Racing Fuel in that machine. He's down and away. Fresh sets of rubbers. Fresh set of tires. And full tank of Sunoco Racing Fuel, and Thomas McMullen is away. I don't know. I think he's got a shot here. Handling is going to matter in the late stages here at Daytona. These guys have been under the green for 35 laps. Those tires are tired. I know we don't look at Daytona and Talladega as handling tracks, but with this new car, we don't really know for sure. I don't know. I don't even know what to think right now. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think, maybe if it goes to a green-white checker, these other guys may have to pit. We're not sure with this new setup if what the fuel strategy looks like.
I mean, okay, so let's do some math here. They say on average, a lap under yellow is like saving 2 laps of green, right? So
Correct.
say 35 laps was the pit window, where we've run 1 lap of caution, 2 laps of caution. We're going to run 1 more, so that's 6. So that's 39 laps. So unless these guys really save on this caution, we may have guys running out off turn 4 coming to the line.
Well, you got to think, too, though, they probably didn't pit till lap, 62? And then they ran the first few laps under caution. And I'm sure they were turning their car off. You have the ability to turn your car off. I know Vincent Short is really big on that. That's one of the things he told me whenever he first came to HBR.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely do. No matter what. I mean, even on the opening pace lap, once I'm up to pace car speed, I kill it and I clutch it until I have to get back into it. I mean, I'm saving fuel from the word go, which, the guys on Saturdays and Sundays, they do the same things. They say, gentlemen, start your engines. They fire them up and they immediately kill the car, because why burn fuel sitting there idling for no reason when it's going to help you in the race to save it?
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what plays out, but you know, I know Chris Johnson was the only one I think in the top 5 for sure that pitted.
But Chris Johnson, it's not a terrible move. He was, what, second or third? He's going to restart about 10th or 11th, it looks like.
So on the restart, it looks like Bobby Jr. will lead us down. Cody Harger second, David Bradford third, Ryan Rose fourth, and Vincent Short fifth. So we got 3 HBR guys here in the top 5. We'll see if they can get together. Oh, Jeff Napier right here in 6, going to try to run everybody's party.
Pace car ducks down pit lane. Bobby Hamilton Jr. can go, and he does.
He wastes no time there.
It honestly seemed a little early. Pace car was not in pit lane when he left. I don't know if they're going to review that or not. Little wiggle from Justin Napier on the outside keeps it going.
I think him and Vince made contact. That's the second or third time those two's kind of had contact.
2 laps to go here at Daytona to decide the winner of the Superior Class Auto Racing NASCAR Cup Series season opener, the Daytona 250. Bobby Hamilton Jr. leads with David Bradford and Cody Harger in the top 3. Brian Rose 4th, Jeff Napier in 5th.
Coming down to the white flag.
Last lap, Bobby Hamilton Jr. closely tracked by the 46 of David Bradford. Cody Harger into 3rd, Brian Rose 4th, Jeff Napier is 5th. I don't know if they've got the numbers to make it happen, but oh, a little wiggle and Cody Harger to the inside. He is wrecking. The yellow flag will not be coming out. This is the last lap. The battle for the win. David Bradford looking for a way around the 16, but he's got no help. We've got big trouble in the back. We're going to stay with the leaders to watch this finish roll out. So far, off turn 4, Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the lead. No help for the 46. Checkered flag. Bobby Hamilton Jr. wins the Daytona 250.
Wow.
Another big wreck.
They may not have been the close race for first, but through the pack, they were battling everywhere.
Just when you thought we weren't going to wad up all the cars.
Yeah, they were 3 or 4 separate wrecks. Bobby Jr. gets the win going into the new season. He is the defending champion as well.
Official results, Bobby Hamilton Jr. with the win. David Bradford 2nd. Brian Rose 3rd. Colt Ainsley's 4th. Vincent Short 5th. Dane Walsh was 6th. Alan DeFries 7th.
We got Alan DeFries wrecking Colt Ainsley after the race. I think the tempers may be flaring here. Alan hit him real hard and then spun him around. That may be something we'll have to watch going forward.
Rounding out the finishing order, Alan DeFries was 7th, Justin Napier 8th, Jesse Bobo 9th. Bobby still doing burnouts or no?
I think so. So there's your top 3 at the start-finish line.
All
So
right. Well, let's bring in race winner Bobby Hamilton Jr. to the broadcast room. Bobby Hamilton Jr., Steve, and Eric in the HBR booth. Are you with us?
Yeah, man.
hey Bob,
Yeah, bud.
hey, I picked you. You told me pick you all season. That's 2 for 2.
I cannot believe you just won the Daytona 500. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Me and David was talking about this before. I was like, it's the hardest thing to win. And with this package, oh my God, what a shit show. You can't pass. You can't do nothing. Um, but I can tell you, I got to listening to everybody that was off the throttle so much, keep from getting runs. And with that, I think it was 10 to go or whatever it was. I said, okay, they're all going to check up coming off of 4. And when they do, I'm not. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I went to the outside, and everybody got in behind me, buddy. We were trucking up through there, getting one after another. And the 46, he was really close on fuel, so I think he was having to be easy on the throttle, and it just worked out. And then the last caution, I thought, okay, well, this was fun while it lasted, but they didn't have enough, or it just didn't work out. David didn't have a teammate behind him, and they got tangled up in the, I think, second or third or something like that. So, man, I'm ecstatic. To win this thing is big.
Yeah, you done a great job and came out of nowhere. Was that kind of your plan after you got in that incident with Carson Conway?
Yeah, and you know what? I hate I did that because typically I always try to give everybody room because I preach about everybody giving me room, and I straight run over him. I don't know what I was thinking, and but it was so hard. Like the car, you would get completely out of the gas, and the thing would wiggle, and of course you're having to door jam everybody to get passes and stuff like that. And then as soon as I let off the gas or got a run, it was like wiggling, and we hit the door, and I just drove into him like an idiot. And I kind of figured our night was over with because that would have been our fast repair. And then all of a sudden, I was like, we're just going to ride. Who cares? Just get a finish, try to get a top 5, top 10. And then when it was all said and done, you know, I knew I had to be there at the end to win this thing. But then with 10 to go, I knew that's what I was telling them on the radio. I was like, okay, we got to try something. What we're doing is not working. And I mean, I cannot believe how slow you guys raced. You know what I'm talking about. We're on the back straightaway running half throttle to keep from passing people because you don't want to get hung out. And I was like, off of 4, I'm not lifting. And then we passed like 5 off of the corner, and it kept going. I was like, well, I'll take this and wind up here.
Yeah, I know we had just went through the field and you were towards the back of it, and it seemed like we went to the front and you came right with us out of nowhere. So great job on that. You got anything for him, Steve?
No, Bobby, just congratulations. I hate to say that you won because Eric picked you to win and I picked Brian. It just didn't work out for me. But either way, congratulations. A great run. Looks like we lost the video feed on the stream, but the audio's still running, so we're not going to shut it down. We'll finish up our interviews and do the rest of it. But look forward to seeing you next week. Who do you got to thank for tonight?
The Hateful Chicken. Those guys, they're big fans, and you know what? I got to thank all the people that watch this broadcast because you guys put on such a show when it comes to the broadcast and the work that you guys do. Uh, I swear when I talk to the Hateful Chicken people, and they're all just like it's like watching NASCAR on TV. So you guys do an incredible job. Uh, I don't know how we could do any better with you guys. I mean, you guys really put on a show for them to be able to sit in this thing and watch for 2 hours. And there was nothing exciting about this race, and they stuck in here and watched this thing. So that tells you the kind of job they're doing. But also, too, I got to give all the people that's Cody Anderson's fans, Cody Hager's fans, and David Bradford, everybody's fans that sit and watch this thing to make all this stuff happen. That's what's so special. And then the drivers tonight. I mean, it was such a clean race. The ARCA race the other night was so clean, hardly no wrecks. These drivers, there's tons. I get tons of league of invites that people want me to come run in their leagues, and I tell them, I, you ain't got what we got, and that is 100% true. So between the broadcast, the teamwork you guys do, and the brother type style racing we got over here, we cuss each other today and text tomorrow, make sure everybody's okay. We're over it and pass on. I mean, this is a class act here.
Well, Bobby, thank you for the kind words. Certainly, thank you for the league. Thank you for the sponsors, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
Thank you, man. See y'all.
See you, Bobby.
All right, next up, we're going to bring in David Bradford, our second place finisher. David Bradford, Steve, and Eric in the HBR booth. Do you have us?
Yeah, I got you, man.
Well, David, I guess it wasn't meant to be once again. You looked real strong in the middle and late stages of the race, but couldn't bring it home. What would have been the secret? What would have worked out better for you in the end?
Off two, I gave up too much racetrack up off the bottom, and Cody got a nose kind of to me. I don't know. We bumper hooked or something off the second corner, and once he spun, it was all over. I didn't have any help and couldn't really back up to the people behind me. They were just a little too far gone. So once me and Bobby got strung out, it was all his to win.
Well, it was certainly an incredible race to watch. We thought you had an opportunity there at the end, and then, of course, with the multiple wrecks on the last lap, you were certainly losing any kind of drafting help that was needed. Without that help, was there any chance you could have gotten by?
No, I would have needed another lap to even have a shot at him. And the way this aero package is, one car's not going to muster it up, to really help those guys that are trailing. It's just going to push that guy out in front so far. But I was kind of lucky to get the yellows we had because I wasn't going to make it on fuel before that.
Yeah, so this is your first race with HBR. I know you and Brian worked a lot together. Did you all have a plan on that last lap before the wrecking happened?
Honestly, we didn't have a plan all night, man. It was, if we could help each other, good, but don't jump out of your way to help somebody and hurt yourself, especially with the way this racetrack race tonight. It was everybody was on the bottom, and you know everybody just had to be there. It was not great racing to me. I had to keep moving my throttle pedal around or my foot because it was falling asleep all the time. It's not fun to race like that, and then to come down to the last lap and botch it like I did. I think this has got to be the third 500 or so that I've led the most laps and not won the race.
Yeah, you was definitely out front all race. So I guess we'll be heading to California for the next race. I know just about anywhere we go, you're good there, and you're gonna come out here with a lot of bonus points. So anybody you'd like to thank?
Of course, I got to thank the HBR guys again for letting me come on the team. Natural Light, Anheuser-Busch, those guys, sponsoring the car again this season, changed it up. Got the most popular beer in Florida on the car this season. Everybody watching at home, dad, uncle, all them guys, again, came up short. I don't know what I got to do to win at Daytona, but seems like I can win everywhere else. Just this 1.5 hours from my house, I just can't seem to get it done.
Well, David Bradford, your second place finisher. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing you next week at Auto Club.
Thanks, guys.
All right. So last but not least, our third place finisher, Brian Rose, Steve, and Eric in the HBR booth. Are you with us?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Brian, it's once again not the result that you wanted, but it's the result that you got. Third place finish. It's a decent points day. You led some laps. You started on pole. How could things gone any differently for you, and what could you have done to improve that finishing position?
Well, 2 races into the SCAR season here, I'm already tired of third place finishes. Qualified on the pole and then won the first lap or the first stage. Second stage finished P2, and then at the end of the race P3. So we was going the wrong way. But first off, I gotta say, nothing intentional to Cody right there at the end. We talked. I watched the replay. It looked like David might have checked up just a little bit, and then it's an accordion effect. But just wasn't prepared to lift quite that much there on the last lap. But nothing intentional there.
Well, Brian, it was certainly impressive to watch, especially that first stage. I think you let it green flag to yellow. That was a good move for you, a good points move for you. It's certainly going to help things going forward. Eric, what do you have for Brian?
So Brian, me and you've talked a lot, and you've been an ARCA champion. I know your goal is to win the Cup championship. Off to a good start. So what's your plan going into California?
California, these cars racing big packs no matter where we're going to go this year. Just going to have to try to stay clean, keep it up front. Stages are going to be key. Those are bonus points, championship points. Those are the key. So that's what we're looking for. But proud of all the HBR guys tonight. We had 3 out of the 4 drivers finish in the top 5. So with that HBR, those points, the team championship, right now we're looking good. So good job to everybody. This was a boring race. Had some new guys, some new family and stuff out here watching. Larry and Blake. I hate that this wasn't a great show. We usually do put on a really good show, but with this Aero package at Daytona, it didn't live up to quite the hype that we thought it would.
Well, Brian, me and Eric certainly tried hard to put on a decent show. We did actually lose the video feed, unfortunately. I think it may have been on the last lap. We still got the audio rolling, so at least we can hear the interviews. But congratulations again. Pole position, winner stage 1, and third place finish here tonight. What are your thoughts going into Auto Club next week?
I like Auto Club. I really do. Auto Club, Michigan, places like that, I tend to run really well. We're off to a hot start, HBR all the way around. So just going in, try to make some points. Obviously, I'm not even turning the computer on if we're not looking for the win, but getting up there, staying clean, getting a solid finish, that's the goal.
Well, Brian, once again, congratulations, and we look forward to seeing you next week at Auto Club.
All right, and just thank everybody at Popple for staying on board with us this season. Two Blessings Thrift Shop, everybody who makes this possible, all the sponsors out there, everybody down at the Hateful Chicken. We're trying to put on a good show for you guys, so we hope you enjoy.
That's Brian Rose, third place finisher in the SCAR NASCAR Cup Series Daytona 250. Sorry we lost that last lap, guys, but we're doing the best we can. I'm going to try and go back. I will post to the last lap so y'all can watch it. To all you guys, Debbie, Eddie Rose, Michael Rose, Don Harger, even Eric Dotson, though, he's in the booth. Terry Craven, Ainsley, Don Harger, I think I said him already, Melinda, Anna Garza, everybody in on the stream, checking in, talking to us. We really appreciate it. Again, I apologize we lost that video feed at the end, but I'll make it right. We'll do a quick recap of it, and that's that. Thanks for watching, guys.
One more interview?
Yeah, sure. Who do you want to bring in, Eric?
I want to bring in Cole. I want to see what happened with him and DeFreeze after the race.
Do it.
Let's bring him up. Hey, Cole.
Yes, sir.
Eric and Steve in the broadcast room. We're watching the end of the race and see a little bit of fireworks with you and DeFreeze. Any comments on it?
Just going to the finish, man. I mean, I got a huge run coming out of 4, and I've honestly didn't think we'd cross the line pointed straight. I had a huge run, had to go somewhere with it, and barely cleared the 4. I just knew I was going to get spun by him, and just barely cleared it. And then, saw a gap between Allen and I don't even know who the other car was. I think it was Brian, and he was upset. I mean, I see where he's coming from. He probably thought I went in there and just bulldozed him out of the way. But if you look at the lines, I kept it straight, and he just kind of came down. Nothing malicious. He just protected the line. So he was upset. It is what it is. And I just all I told him was after the race when he spun me and nosed it into the barriers was rule number 1 of stock car racing is learn how to wreck someone without wrecking yourself. So. Other than that, the Rick Mattek Chevy was stupid fast. I mean, we had a couple of really good runs that we were going with, and just unfortunately, this package is, you're kind of stuck. I mean, all three of our outcast cars, Chris and Will, we were trying our best to get up there and just couldn't do anything.
You think this is going to linger over to the next races, or are you and Alan going to be good?
I'm good. I don't know about Alan. I'm sure we'll talk this week. I mean, we have a running dialogue on our like Facebook chat, so I'm sure we'll talk. I'm sure he'll be okay. And if not, it's what it is. We'll move on.
Absolutely. We wanted to just kind of find out what happened there. You got anything for Colt, Steve?
No, it's just entertaining to watch. Once again, fourth place and not really a win, but it certainly seemed like you came on strong there late. Thought you had an opportunity, just didn't work out.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to get third there. Allen hit Brian's right rear at like a 30-degree angle, which usually means death into the outside wall. And somehow Brian shook it off like Iron Man and kept on trucking. So good for him to get that third place. I was really hoping he was going to get right hooked in the wall, though.
Well, certainly made things exciting here on the last lap at Daytona. Fourth place finish for you, Colt. Congratulations. Bringing that new Rick Motec sponsorship. A respectable finish here at the opening race of the season.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you next week at Auto Club.
Sounds good. See y'all then.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. Before I really try to close things out here on our audio-only broadcast, Eric, is there anybody else you want to pull up?
I think that's good. I was going to pull Allen up, but it looks like he's done left for the day. So, that's something we'll follow next week. See what happens with those guys. And good win for Bobby Jr. Good showing for David Bradford and the HBR guys. Exciting finish.
Certainly was. I mean, they say it was a boring race. They said that last night, and honestly, I mean, last night's race was a little more entertaining, I will admit. The guys in the cars thought it was a snooze fest until the yellow came out, but I thought it was good racing. But even tonight, yes, it had its moments of, okay, single file freight train, blah, blah, blah. But we had some restarts, some side-by-side action, and certainly the last couple of laps did not disappoint. We still had that typical Daytona finish with cars in the wall, tempers flaring, and certainly the fireworks post-race. So for that, I'm Steve Singer. For Eric Dotson in the Holler Boys Racing TV booth, we'll see you guys next week at Auto Club.
See you guys.